A bottle of bourbon, right? Hi, my name is Erik. Allison Erik. You might know me as the fastest guitar player in Rhode Island, third most expressive guitar player in the world, widest bend range in the under 40 age category, etc., etc. I've been getting a lot of fan mail saying, "Hey Allison, you're a great guitar player, but how do you stop? Let's get things straight. I play guitar, but I am not a guitar player. I'm a guitarist." Let's keep that in mind. Moving on, they say, "Allison, I love your sound. How do you get it? What is your rig? What is your signal chain? What is your setup?" And I figured, let me show you what it's like. Starting with the axe herself. Call her Toni Braxton, because she has the body of a lady, but she sings like a man. This is a 1964 Mexican Stratocaster, pre-CBS, Mustang neck. Got this for $30,000 on eBay. That was the buy it now price. A steal, obviously. Came with the certification papers and everything. You'll notice here, if you look closely, I'll bring this up to the camera. There's a stereo cable plugged into Toni here. And, just one plug kind of dangling. And people will say, what is that for? What a waste. No. It picks up the chi in the room. It hangs out in the air and just gives a kind of spiritual pa to what I play. Following this cable down here, we get to the pedal responsible for my signature tone. This is the Grim Rimmer boutique handmade pedal. I'm going to turn it on, crank both knobs all the way up, put her back down. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, I like to play chords. I just love the sound of more than one note at once." And I say, but what about melody? Can the human voice make more than one note at once? I know that Toni doesn't want to. Toni Braxton wants to sing. And the thing is, with this pedal, I don't have to worry about, the temptation to play more than one note at once. The pedal takes care of that, and I'll try to show you how here. Basically, you play one note. Sounds incredible. I mean, it sounds great. You play a second note. Sounds possibly better than the first. But then you play more than one note at once. It sounds like shit. It sounds horrible. And that way you don't have to worry about that. You can focus on soloing. The only exception, you can play octaves. That's, more than one note. But anything else, impossible. Moving on here, trace it back to the amp, which is a 1946 Fender Frontman 15R. Funny story behind this little fella. I was in Detroit playing a gig. It's the afternoon of, and as usual, I'm in the antiques district, just looking for a bargain. And I go into this store, small, decent-looking store. Some music playing on the radio, and I look and I see this little amp, and they're playing the radio through it, so I just stole it. And moving on from the gear here, more important is, how do you get the sounds, Allison? How do you use the gear to do what you do? How do you play so fast, for example? And with that, you know, I thought I'd just go through how I go about playing really fast. The first step, I take some of the highest grade sandpaper. It's so fine it looks almost like a napkin. And during one of my weekly restringings of the guitar, I took the sandpaper. I can't do it now because the strings are on. But I took it on each fret, and I just sanded down the fret till there was nothing left, no bump. And that way, while I'm playing, you know, my left hand's doing fast things, it doesn't trip up over the frets. There's nothing to stumble on. It's just music. Next thing I do, grease it up. Take a little chapstick. You'll notice I've taken the label off. I don't want you to know what flavor, because I gotta keep some secrets. Gotta stay on top. And I take it and I just grease up the strings. I start up at the nut, light pressure, harder, harder, working down to the bridge. By the end, you want to be pushing hard, and you want to be leaving a visible residue. That way, there's a lot of grease down where you're picking, which allows you to pick faster. The pick just slides back and forth in a way that's not possible with unlubed strings. So you just go, you do it to each string. It's like a ATM machine, swinging your credit card through. It's like stamping passports. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Go to the back of the line. Welcome to America. You get the deal. And you'll notice that if you look up close here, you can see the visible residue of the chapstick, which means you've applied enough. Now, the last and most important step to playing some fast guitar. A lot of people will tell you, you gotta practice. You gotta, you know, work at developing tiny muscles in your arm. You gotta little shake around, shake around, shake around. I'll tell you right now, it's a waste of time. You know, I tell people, you know, they're concerned about technique. I say, no, I'm not concerned about it. I'm an inventor first, a musician second, and a father in a distant third. But I don't learn techniques, I create new ones. And in this case, I went and found a slate from the roof that was exactly the weight of my right arm, my picking arm. And what this does, instead of, you know, oh, I use a guitar pick, little, you know, twisted back and forth, I don't try to move at all. Because this is the weight of my arm, all I do, I try to stay as perfectly still as possible when I'm poised at the string. And what happens is that the tiny movements in your arm, you know, just the little compensating movements, produce a faster picking than you could achieve otherwise. You can listen here for a second. So, you know, QED.